Stress is a big problem, and I have recently found something that profoundly reduced my stress levels, and I believe it will help you too. After watching today's video, you will have a fantastic tool to use when you feel like you're stressed. Stress is everywhere. And I have made a video talking about how many of the problems we get from stress actually just come from our bad mindset about it. We tend to consider it to be harmful, so we get stressed over it. We get stressed over the fact that we're stressed, and we tend to view it as a threat instead of a challenge. And this also affects how you react to the stress. And while I do stand by these things, having the right mindset hasn't really changed much for me. I have changed my mindset about it, but that doesn't change the fact that long-term stress has been an issue for me personally for a long time. And this is something I've tried to work on very actively, of course. And while things like mindfulness does help, it's very hard to work on this whole stress thing. Because it's kind of paradoxical, since you know it's something that you should work on, but the very thing that causes me stress is how I keep thinking I need to do this, I need to fix that. And I also have to remember to do that. And right, I have to fix that other thing too. My mind has always tended to stay racing like this. And if I keep thinking I have to work on stress management, then that's just adding another I have to the clutter. Fairly recently, however, I did figure out one thing that I can do. One thing that has actually drastically reduced the amount of stress I experience from all these things popping up in my head that I need to do. And that thing is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Besides thinking. I have now started to understand the value of this. You see, the reason I get stressed over these things is because I try to keep them all in my mind. And there are always many things to do because I've always been very busy and active. And that's why they keep racing around, because I try to keep them all in my head. So the way to get rid of this is writing them down. And this, of course, I tried a long time ago, as it seems like an obvious solution. But just writing down a bunch of things I had to do didn't get me far. Plus, there is always much more than I can think of in the moment. If I sit down and think I'm gonna write down all these things now, then I'm only gonna come up with half of them. But I've come to realize all these things always come to me when I slow down, before I go to sleep. I've been laying in bed for 10 minutes, I'm very close to falling asleep, and then my mind goes, right, I have to do that thing, or right, I have to reply to so-and-so, or when I'm meditating, for example. So now recently I've realized, why not just spend some time like this every single day, a couple of times, where I just do nothing and allow all the thoughts to just come out. So that's what I've started doing. I lay down or I sit for a little while and I just think, and not directed thinking. That takes effort. I'm not scanning my brain for things I need to do. I'm just allowing myself to think openly. And while doing this, I also try to be as mindful as possible. And right next to me, I have my journal. And in it, I usually have a to-do list for today and tomorrow. And then as soon as something comes up and I go, right, I have to book that new client, and then I calmly write it down, put away the journal, and get back to doing nothing. I've tried doing this a few times a day now, and my thoughts aren't racing as much as they used to. This could also be partly affected by the fact that I've seen a lot of progress when it comes to mindfulness the last few months. But a lot of it can definitely be traced back to these open thinking sessions. So I recommend you to try. And that's all for today. If you want more help with mindset, stress, motivation, and overall want to improve as a person, then click the link down below to apply to work with me for free, where I personally guide you through my 5-step process for self-improvement in a one-on-one call. Take care of yourself, brother, and earn your sleep.
And by the way, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Please and thank you.